This is Shaun Sport in podcast form.
Oh, it's great to be joined in the studio with Sean Darcy, Fremantle ruckman. He's been a champion of the game, dominated on the weekend. Nathan did allude to you that there's a love interest in your life. I'm going to get to that in a second. I just want to ask you about the crumpet thing. So Nathan has gone to a point in his life where he can have 2 crumpets, because 2's the minimum you have at any one time, and he can have them with different toppings, spreads.
Yeah. So normally, if I'm having 2 crumpets, there'll be 2 Vegemite, or there'll be 2 peanut butter, or 2 jam. But now I've realised that I can have 1 Vegemite and then 1, say, jam or 1 peanut butter. It's mind blowing.
I don't feel comfortable in that.
I like 1. Why are you dip-dabbling in everything? Like,
so
just take 1.
1 flavour profile?
Yeah.
I agree.
Well, I know. I have been that way my entire life. Tracy, it's only new. It's only the last 2 weeks. Like suddenly it dawned on me.
Do you wash your mouth no, like you brush your teeth before?
There's no palate cleanser.
It's like a different wine tasting.
It is, don't you think?
Swish it around and clear the palate.
Yeah, it's fine. Yeah, so you just.
I love it. No,
but do you do it?
Yeah. Well, no. What I used to do it with toast.
Yeah.
So I do it with Vegemite and then jam, like 1 piece of toast with Vegemite.
What do you put on your crumpets?
I love honey.
Oh.
Yeah.
It fills the
honey.
holes.
Yes, it soaks it all.
It does. What do you like to fill the holes with on your crumpet?
I'm a Vegemite man.
Me too.
Yeah,
and people are freaked out about Vegemite on crumpets, but it's absolutely delicious.
Peanut
I
paste
just
is
love
the go.
Vegemite.
Peanut butter, Shaun. We're in America. We're not in America.
Okay, we're not in
Peanut
America.
Paste.
All right, so that's number 1. We've certainly got Sean Darcy's feelings on that. He'd rather have them exactly the same.
Yep.
What's the other question you want to talk to him about, Nathan?
What is this about love coming into your life? And in how many weeks?
A week and a half.
A week and a half, love is coming into Sean Darcy's life.
You've been on Russian Bridesmaids. Me too.
Oh, God, I can't wait to be Svetlana.
Getting all the paperwork done.
What's happening?
I'm getting a dog.
Yeah, you are.
Yay!
Big Great Dane, so...
It has to be a Great
Beautiful.
Dane.
Yeah, I don't think you could suit a Chihuahua like that or a Shih
walking
Tzu or
around
something
that, so...
like that.
It would have to have been a Great Dane or an Irish Wolfhound.
Yeah.
Or something horsey.
So Brad Hill used to have a Great Dane. His Great Dane was a ripper. There's one that lives across the road from me, but they haven't... I don't mean to be mean. They have an expiry date, Great Danes.
Yeah, they do.
You know that?
Yeah.
What do you mean?
That if they get to 9 or something along those lines, that's all you've got them for.
You're pretty lucky,
Really?
yeah.
Then they're out of date and they're...
So wait there. How long does a normal dog last for?
All right. There you go, Shaun.
Thanks, appreciate it.
Warning.
Look into this.
Yeah,
Look into
no,
this.
I know. They have a short life.
So how long-
Or you
Because it's so
enjoy
big,
every 9
It
years.
just doesn't work for them.
So wait, you're saying bigger people have shorter lives? Sean, that's not boding too well for you.
Actually, can you Google that,
We're here for
Harry,
a
while
good
we're
time,
talking
not a
about
long
that? I think you might be right, by the way. Bigger people have shorter lives.
Well, that's not good.
Or for you either, Nathan.
Hey, what are we thinking? Oh, a Great Dane's expensive nowadays. I don't know the price, but it's like thousands. Dogs are thousands.
Most dogs are thousands at the
Yeah.
moment.
wow.
And what are we naming it?
Duke,
Why Duke?
because it's a sick name.
What about
What a stupid question, Nathan.
I think. What about Great Dane Judi Dench?
Automatically, it's an old woman Dane.
He's like,
Great,
no.
that's
die
so
in
much
weeks.
better than Duke.
Great Dane Judi Dench.
Hey, Harry's got some information on bigger people.
Yeah, there have been some studies. There is a correlation between height and longevity. Short people have been found to resist certain diseases such as cancer and to
That's
live
because they
longer
can
lives.
duck them.
Correct. And it says here because they can duck cancer. On Google.
Just get low.
So tall people and tall dogs, we're not going to live as
yeah.
long.
We're in
Wow.
trouble. Yeah.
You are in trouble.
Afraid to say.
I'll live to
Darcy.
150. But I'll look like 1,000.
At the end of the earth, it'll be Tracy and cockroaches. That's it.
Now, Sean, plenty happening in the Docker scene at the moment. Caleb Serong with the match review panel upholding his decision last night. I always feel if you've got a purple jumper on that you go to the tribunal and you just don't get an even break.
Yeah, I don't know the last time someone got off in the tribunal from Freo, but that's the decision. I think it was a pretty long process. He was in there for about 3.5, 4 hours. So,
God, it sounds a murder trial.
Yeah.
Isn't that insane that they can
Yeah.
go for that long?
Yeah. Well,
apparently they, like frame by frame, ask everything you were thinking, and half
And
the time you're not thinking
It's a
too
second.
much.
Yeah,
You're like,
no.
What's the setup? Are you like in a witness box? What's it? Is it like court? What's it like?
I think they're on Zoom, so
Okay.
because he's in WA, not Melbourne. He goes and Zoom.
And you're sitting there watching frame by frame of
frame by frame,
whatever's happened on the field. Yeah, right.
Like, what were you doing here? And
wow.
It's
that is a
hard.
real interrogation.
Yeah, it is.
I think it's really ordinary to try to break down a situation where your body's fully committed to something and asking you to stop that.
Yeah.
And, Caleb is the 26th person to be suspended for the tackle this year. 26.
Wow.
And I don't think at the start of the year, Shaun, you might be able to correct this. So at the start of the year, it started coming in, right? So they started looking at the tackle, and now we've got to a point where we know basically if you bring someone to ground, hit their shoulder/head, anywhere near that part, even if you don't hit your head anymore, then you get suspended, right? But at the start of the year, were you fully aware that this was going to be the case?
I didn't think it'd be this big. I thought if you sling and you get someone and they hit their head, there's a chance. But at this moment, I thought it was 2 actions that we got told, but I didn't think Caleb's was 2 actions in my opinion. But so it is tough to sort of we really don't understand what's going on at the moment. So, but that's footy.
It'd be hard for you as well because, I mean, you could literally just put your hands on your hips and knock someone out in the head. You have to be aware all the time.
Take one step, yeah.
So, when you're at a party with toddlers, make sure you don't stand on one.
Well, on that, it was like you were the biggest man on the field on the weekend, and you dominated in the ruck for Freo. 70 hit outs, right? Fremantle, 70, and you attributed just about every one of those. So he dominated, Nathan. But the midfield were carved up big time by Carlton, and you were poor across the board. Like, we've seen 1 win in the last 5 games, Shaun.
Yeah, it's been a disappointing run. We're not playing the footy that we want to. I think our contest work is really poor at the moment. We're not transitioning the ball at all. We're not using the shape. We're not using the whole ground to our advantage. We're probably just getting off the line and kicking it straight down the line, which is really easy to defend. So, yeah, we've got a lot of things to fix. So it's pretty disappointing at the moment.
You're not using the shape of the ball or the shape of the oval? What does
ground.
That mean? Okay.
Yeah.
The oval,
Okay, so you're not
shape.
really using all the oval that you can.
Yeah.
Using all the space.
Yeah. Straight line footy. So if people become, everyone just boxes themselves up like this rather than, using angles and going out in different ways.
Nathan's getting an education.
I know. I just love it whenever Shaun explains something to me, Darcy just gives me this look like, oh God. How have you gone for 20 years?
You ask questions and I'm just like, no one really asked that question, but that makes me explain it.
It's been really disappointing. And one of the things that people are talking about, and I can defend this position saying it's a young team, Trace, so this is a really young team. Do you see that as an excuse? Do you think that's real?
We did lose a lot of senior players who've played a lot of footy last year. I think we lost 6 players and they combined 1,200 games, which is really significant.
Wow.
But at the end of the day, birth certificates go out the door when you're playing. It's a competitive environment. You've got to perform. So we're not performing at the moment, and that's the cold hard truth. You got to sit back and we got to change it. And you can't just say, oh, we're young, well, let's wait 2 or 3 years. We got to change it now.
You're playing Collingwood, top of the table.
Yep. So there's no.
How do you change it this week?
There's no bigger test than that. So we got to come in there. We got to move the ball well. We've got to be really strong in the contest, and we got to give our forwards really good looks.
We're doing very well, surprisingly, because we're a very young team as well.
Yeah. There's no Botox on these heads.
No. Is he 20? Is he 21? I don't know. Is he in his teens, people say?
Well, he must be 20, 21 because he celebrated his 20th anniversary on Nova. So.
I know, so he started
almost 21.
Shaun, thanks very much for coming in. Really appreciate it, mate. Good luck with the purchase of the dog.
Good luck with Duke.
Thank you.
Can't wait to meet him.
I know.
One day.
You're coming.
Well, plenty happening in the sporting world, including this morning when we wake up to the news that Daniel Ricciardo is back in the F1 chair.
Yeah,
I'm excited. It'd be great to see him back.
He's a good guy.
I love it. And we were discussing it. He brings character to the F1.
He does, Trace, really.
But I wonder how he feels about he's the second driver for a junior team now. So
so he's a slot.
after Sonoda, was it? Is it Yuki Tsunoda? Yeah.
But I think that he knows he's still the gun.
Yeah.
I know he's got the second chair in that thing, but it's Daniel Ricciardo, mate. They're fair dinkum. They're lucky, Red Bull, to have signed him to that, just the reserve driver. and now being able to use him because all the sponsors, as we know, and you were mentioning that this morning, Trace, it's such a big thing for the sport to have someone with character come back into it.
Yes,
and hopefully,
absolutely.
the shoey's back and all kinds of things start happening.
And
He was doing this TV show during one of the races with some celebrity. He was hosting some TV show that got absolutely panned.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So it was him and I can't even remember who it was. Do you remember who it was, Harry?
But this is the issue, I think, through this time while he's been a reserve driver for Red Bull. I think they've been scratching at anything that they can give him, like a project or something like that.
It is.
So they've been trying to film him and doing all these things, and who knows if there's another season of Drive to Survive. So they obviously, with Daniel Ricciardo not part of it, they want to get him back in. Yeah. So it's great to see him back. I've missed him.
Harry on the Google.
Yeah, there was Will Arnett.
Will Arnett. So it's him and Will
they?
Arnett. And they were supposed to do, and then it was just very flat because it was like there was no one producing it.
They didn't try, no. They kind of had it as a Zoom call. He was in Zoom. Ricardo was at the track, and it just was awkward.
Yeah, it was super
Will Arnett's hilarious as well.
Okay.
I know, but it just shows that he is a commodity.
Yeah.
Because they're not doing that with anyone else, So, yeah.
Yeah, he's a big-time commodity. We wish him all the best in that space. Stuart Dew, when we left on air yesterday, he had been given the ask from the Gold Coast Suns. He coached 121 games, which is the most out of any coaches that they've had there.
Okay.
Only last week, the CEO at the Gold Coast Suns, Mark Evans, well, he fronted a media conference and he said this.
I've said time and time again, Stewie's our coach, contracted for this year and next year.
Oh.
He said that last week.
Wow.
So contract for this year.
He's
not lying. He's not lying.
We got to Tuesday, like 4 days later.
Turn around.
Yeah, he's not lying, though.
Well, what's the talk?
Is he really? Because in that quote, he didn't say, and we're not going to get rid of him. He just said what we have and how long the contract goes for.
Oh, you're right, Nathan. It's just, you hear it time and time again, don't you? It's just funny. It's when they come out and say that, you go, I might as well pack the bags.
Yeah.
I'm
But
out
I'm
of
also
here.
like, why say it if you kind of already know what might be happening?
Yes.
You play stuff like that. That was last week.
The problem was
Yeah.
for the Gold Coast Suns, and I'm sure this will come out in the wash, is that they've clearly had roundtable talk with all the board members and decided that they're going to move him on. Someone has then given the information to Caroline Wilson, who writes over in Melbourne, and she's put it out there in the space straight away. And she gave details about Stuart Dew being moved on. So then the media go, all right, straight over to the CEO, and he goes, no, he's still our coach. What are you talking about? But someone has given up the ghost already. That's not a great organisation.
Can I say, though, it must be so nerve-wracking being a leak because you don't know whether the thing that you've been told has been strategically told to you to find out who the leak is. So it's a bit of a risk, like telling
or
someone.
if it comes back to you.
Yes.
Well, Trace, this is perfect for you and getting information. I'd imagine government sources and other places.
Do you have sources?
Yeah.
Oh, I think. God, no, I don't have sources now. I don't think I'm, not a bit out of the game as compared to the younger journos now. But it takes a while to build those sources, to build that trust. But once you get that just little nugget, you're like, wow. But you've got to make all the calls. So Caroline Wilson would have gotten that information, made all the right appropriate calls. Her sources would be amazing over there in Melbourne, within AFL headquarters as well. So you have to make sure it's right, that you can run with it.
Getting that information.
It's exciting,
so
though. It's
someone's leaked that
exciting.
information.
But wait, they're making sure it's right, though, because we hear a lot of stuff before it's out in the press, right?
Yes.
And we're not one of those shows that are going to come on here and just say it.
No.
Because we
'Cause you
don't
wanna
know if
get
it's
it
right.
right.
But yet there are shows that come out and say it, and they don't know it's right either. So is getting it right these days really that important? Or is it
for
just...
us it is, as journos, absolutely.
At Channel 9
Not
News.
everyone.
Yeah.
Channel
Not
9
every,
News,
no,
thank
yeah,
you.
Channel 9 News. But no, I know, not for everyone. They just want to get the story out there
Yes.
first and have their name, credited for breaking this story. But no, I think it's getting it right, absolutely.
So on that as well.
I'd be so embarrassed if I put something out there and they're like, actually, that's not true. I'm like, oh my God. That's the end of my career. I know, what a loser.
Tracy, so there's one person we know has given up this information and
Yeah.
Caroline Wilson's got hold of it. Do you think, and is this the case still, do people get paid for leaking
For
this kind of
sorcery.
information?
For sorcery.
Source? Hey, this is a really big story. You swing me a couple of, I don't know, whatever.
I'd want to be
Or-
paid for my sorcery. Like, yeah.
Would you now?
Yeah, I would if I'm going to tell you
Give
something.
me your secrets, Nathan.
No, don't you reckon? I would want to be paid a couple of $100, you know?
I don't think so necessarily. Like I'd say, if you're talking about government stuff, for example, and if it's for the good,
because that's leaked all the time.
If it's for the good of the party or good for the good of the government, then there might be a leak or a source that might want to deliver that sort of information out there and make it public. But I've never been part of one where we've exchanged funds.
Yep.
God.
I'm clean. I'm a clean skin.
Yeah, clean skin.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
God, I'll tell you what, though. Need to buy sauce. That was a lot of talk.
Love sauce talk. The other thing with that is, and I had it in the news before, they're saying Damien Hardwick is just a lock-in.
Yeah, wow.
And apparently just a few months ago he decided, once he left Richmond, he had a couple of months off, then he said, no, feel refreshed, I'm ready to coach. So the Gold Coast Suns are gone. Well, let's get him. And they reckon that the AFL have got a bit of a push and shove from the Gold Coast Suns. Get this guy, you'll be able to turn your franchise around and it'll certainly lift your profile. And that's the way the whole situation has played out. I feel bad for Stewie Jew and his whole family, the whole lot. I mean, this has all taken place behind his back, which a lot of stuff does. But then, you're reading about it. You're asking the questions because this is out in the media. Then eventually you get the axe, go home to your family, and you're on the back page of the paper.
That's really hard.
Full on stuff. Thanks, Sean.
Sean Sport is a Nova podcast. For more great comedy shows like this, head to novapodcast.com.au.